Welcome back to Gotta Be Me podcast. We're so happy to be here again with you today. We're your hosts. My name is Sophia. This is my cousin Peyton and my sister Camille.
Welcome back to our channel, everybody. If you are new here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll appreciate it so very much.
We are so excited to have my mom back on the show. We had her and Aunt Stacy, year and a half ago now? Mm-hmm. And we had a really nice time. We just had a chill conversation.
It's still our biggest video.
It is still our biggest video. Mm-hmm. Is it over 300,000 views?
I'm not sure. I haven't checked.
It is? You remember. Mom
I check every so often.
That's valid. Anyway.
It's almost 400,000 views.
Is it really?
Well, I think it's, last I looked, 384.
Yeah, nothing's close. The grandparents' video is maybe 100.
Part of the reason is because it was short and sweet.
Yeah, it was great.
That's what I think.
Anyway, we're happy to have Mom back. She has a story to tell, a big story. And I think actually, me, Peyton, and Camille, we haven't really talked much about it. Because I think it's her story to tell, and she should be able to do that. So we're so excited to give her a platform for that today. And I personally am just excited to hear the story. Obviously, I was halfway experiencing it with her, but I'm excited to just hear from her perspective and the mental journey she feel like she went through. So,
did you say mental journey?
Yeah, it was physical too,
and there was a lot.
It was So, it's been almost exactly a year ago now.
True.
That you were diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about right before, what made you go get it checked at the...
Well, I was in a lot of pain and it was getting worse and worse. I thought that at the end of the school year, school's stressful, mm-hmm. Work can be stressful. We had a long commute. The drive was what always exacerbated the pain. And I thought that once summer came, I would have some rest and recovery from mm-hmm. whatever I was dealing with.
I remember you checked with a physical therapist.
True.
Thought maybe it could be
alleviated through, pelvic floor mm-hmm. therapy. And some of that was kind of helpful, but but as the summer wore on, I was in just worse pain, and mm-hmm. I was facing starting school up again and doing that commute again, and the worst thing was driving. And we were going to Walmart to go school shopping, and the drive from our house, which is about 10 minutes, was excruciatingly painful. And then being in the store, I had to go to the restroom probably 3 or 4 times, and we didn't specify what kind of cancer it was.
We didn't.
It's rectal cancer. So after that, I knew that it was definitely something that needed to be dealt with. I had kind of just been wishful thinking, hoping that it would resolve, hoping that there was some, lesser serious ailment that could explain all the symptoms and everything. And so at that point, I knew that I needed to go in to address it, because I had to decide whether I was going to even attempt to teach that school year or not. And I thought, okay, we're going to the hospital. But then I was like, but wait, what if it's cancer? I haven't even really thought about the what ifs. Mm-hmm. If it really is, mm-hmm. Something that I have dreaded and something that is life-threatening. And I was like, okay, I can't go today. I have to think about this. So this needs to be processed, and I have to brace myself. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did. I was taking baths multiple times a day to deal with the pain. And at one point I was in the tub, and I think we could call it a prayerful situation where I was just, deep kind of in anguish and really needing some peace, and felt it all alleviated by the voice of God telling me about what a beautiful life I have already had, and how much I have to be thankful for, how there's nothing lacking. There's, if this is cancer, if this is fatal, terminal, I have no reason to be bitter or to feel shortchanged or, in any way fearful. And then I was ready to go in. So when I got the diagnosis, Daddy was there, and I was not shocked. And it wasn't a definite diagnosis there in the ER where, they did the CT scan and some other tests, and just based on what they could see, they said
They did a
there's really
colonoscopy
nothing else
too,
this
right?
could be. That was after I was admitted in the
Oh, okay.
hospital. That was how they did the biopsy and the
Oh, okay,
definitive
okay, okay.
diagnosis. But this was just preliminarily. They were saying this is probably what it is, and because it's spread to these other
It had
body
metastasized
cavities.
by then?
That's what they believed based on what they saw in the pelvic and chest CT scan. So it was a heavy thing, but I didn't feel shocked. And yeah, it was a lot to take in.
I
We
remember
had to
when Dad
call
called us.
family. Yeah.
It was so
We were not
scary.
even home. We were in Guadalajara for a
Of all
meeting.
things, like so far away. And then Dad was like, "Get your siblings." He's like, I need to tell y'all something. I need y'all all to be in the same place." And me and Camille just looked at each other, and we knew, because you've been talking about it kind of off and on all summer.
Yeah, well,
you've been doing
and
research
for more than
and
the
things.
summer,
right?
really, I'd been
Yeah,
dealing
you've
with
been dealing with
symptoms.
Like, symptoms, yeah, exactly.
And issues.
But then as the summer went on, and we kind of knew we had been gone a lot in the summer, but anytime we were home, you were kind of talking about how you were in more pain, and you were doing a lot of research, and
Well, I was looking for ways to deal with the other possibilities, like
right,
if it
that
was.
those symptoms could have been, right?
So how do you eat for IBS, or how do you eat for IBD, or for, what is it called? And I can't remember the name right now, but different diagnoses that I was kind of hoping it was, like how do you
Right.
deal with this? So because eating was causing me a lot of pain.
Right.
So I was looking for something I can eat. So I was losing weight. I mean,
And we were looking
all
for
the-
like all kinds of supplements too, like what's that? Fresh Time, like trying to find anything to alleviate and help.
Yeah.
And I even remember you mentioning about cancer, but I think probably me and Camille both had the same seeking feeling that it could be that, but we wanted to be positive. I don't know. Looking back now, like, I don't know if it was the right response, but we just tried to be like, "No, Mom, surely not." To
Well,
try
how
to,
do you respond to somebody who's, dealing with a big fear like that?
Yeah.
It's, you want to be supportive and optimistic. And we were really wanting to trust God and, exercise our faith. And we were doing that. And there was nothing wrong with the exercising of our faith.
Right.
It's not fair to say that there aren't other ways to exercise
Absolutely.
your faith as well. And I think eventually going to the hospital, seeking help, finding out my options,
Well,
that
the
was all an
exercise in faith
exercise
itself.
of faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I really had to follow. This is going to sound like it's not faith, but I did have to follow my heart. And I mean,
God
I
talks
feel like
to your
God was
heart.
speaking to my heart.
He does.
Yeah.
He absolutely does. Anyway.
And I mean,
Sorry.
not just that, but through family members too.
Right.
I had a conversation with you prior to going in, several months prior to, and it was a what if conversation. And I don't know if you wanted to go this direction with this conversation,
Whatever
but
you want to talk
we'll
about,
do
Mom.
it, and then you can adjust later. But I said, well, what would you want me to do if I was diagnosed with cancer? And you said, well, everything. And that really stuck with me. And that's what I ended up doing, really. Like, I didn't rule any options out altogether, except for when it came to try this, try this, try this, try this. And I was already trying a bunch of different things. It was just like, okay, I'm just going to try
It became a point where
this
you
right
just
now.
picked, right?
So it's not as though those other things at some point might not be something I need to
Look
try.
at.
Yeah.
I felt very strongly about it at the time, Mom. Maybe the Lord spoke to my heart, but I just felt like, well, I do believe in there being a reason for everything, and that, the Lord allows things. But I also just didn't feel like it was your time to just give up and let go. I didn't. I felt very strongly that whatever.
Which is interesting, because that's the place I had to kind of come to before I could even go into the hospital for the diagnosis. Was I had to
You had to
be
be
like,
willing to let go
strength.
still.
Yeah.
this might be it. Physically, I felt that way. Like, I told Daddy, I said, he was gone somewhere, and when he came home, I was like, I really just kind of feel like it's my time to lay in the bed and people come visit me until I die.
You told Dad that?
That's how I felt physically. But then, like the day in the bathtub when the Lord spoke to me, I felt like it's okay if I die, like, and just kind of like, well, that must be it after I got the diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I wasn't there yet.
Right.
And I'm glad you saw that. And Jesse and the thing that he wrote about me for the GoFundMe, which maybe we'll talk about more later on. He said something like, there's no way, my mom's too strong for this, and this is not her time to go, or something to that effect. And then different people, Amy, Ken, they're like, this is not your time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really, that was not what I was thinking. And it was so encouraging to hear that, because it opened a window of hope
Was
in
there
my
like,
mind.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Was there like a specific moment? Like, do you remember a time when you were like, okay, I'm gonna
Hope
fight?
gradually took root. But yeah, there were some really profound moments, I feel like, with Amy and with Ken, where it was like, this might not be the end. There's options here, and they might really work.
Shout out Amy,
And-
one of Mom's best friends, and Ken, our cousin.
And Sister Jo Bell, she said this is not a death sentence. It's a good friend who also is dealing with cancer. I'm not sure what stage hers is, but her words, she had so many hopeful suggestions, things to read and listen to and watch, and just real sources of inspiration. One of them said something like, it was a man who had survived colon cancer naturally, although he did have surgery, but he said, the way you're living is killing you, and you, to survive, have to be willing to change the way you're living completely. And that was profound. That hit hard in a good way. At first, it's like, really? I like my life.
Yeah.
I've been living for 50 years and thinking, I'm finding better and better ways all the time. But it wasn't perfect. Not that it's going to be perfect anytime soon. But yeah, there was a lot that needed to be changed. You said about moments. That was one. It seems like there was another. Oh, and there was a podcast that I watched that my stepmom sent to me that was also just full of hope about the multiplicity of ways to deal with cancer, to naturally heal from cancer. And the woman in the podcast had been a radiation oncologist for 20 plus years, and left Western medicine when she realized that there was such a much bigger picture to healing cancer. And that was a very hopeful thing for me too. And another reason why I didn't just limit my approach to just natural or just chemo, but thought, let's do everything we can. Yeah, especially those natural things, which according to her, and this was part of what really stuck with me, when cancer happens, it's because of too much toxicity and an impaired immune system. So anything you can do to strengthen your immune system and decrease the toxicity in your body will help to fight the cancer. So, and she just knows of lots of ways.
Who was this?
Dr. Katie Deming.
So that was Katie Deming.
Yeah.
That was the podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
So I
went on to do therapies with her and an extended water fast, and that was
How long was your fast?
Amazing experience. 21 days.
21 days is crazy.
And then refeeding for 10 days, which was also
like
hard.
soup.
I remember when you were refeeding, you were like,
I was so thrilled about
carrot water.
she would be like, can you all just please come in my room and tell me what you had for dinner in such detail?
Just describe it.
And we would.
She would even be like, bring me your plate so I can smell it.
Torture.
I did. I tortured myself too early on, and then it was just continued torture. And nobody's to blame for this, because Justine is
amazing cook.
Yes, an amazing person. But and it seems like every house we've ever lived in, the design has been such that the smells from the kitchen are through the ductwork up through the vent, and that's where you smell it the strongest. So that works, for bad in every situation. Really, there's no positive aspect of that, especially when doing an extended water fast, because I was
I felt like that water
craving
fast
food.
is what like kind of like
It was like a breaking point somehow.
yeah, like you had already been healing and doing your chemo and staying
Eating well.
consistent with what you were doing, and then you did the fast, and it was like boom.
Yeah, there's a lot to the fast. It's not just not eating.
Yeah.
I had emotional therapy sessions and group sessions every day, and Dr. Katie would have guest speakers who were dealing with the same things, treating cancer naturally, and a mindset coach who's amazing. Her name's Christy Miller. And it just gradually, I mean, it's Dr. Katie's business, and this is for sure, obviously, kind of a plug, but it's a vision quest, is what it comes down to, and the vision has to do with living your authentic life and being who you are truly designed to be. And
Basically election.
it's a lot easier
You can plug
in the
two at
absence
the
of
same-
food. So I don't know.
To think somehow.
We can starve the students at school from time to time and see if they
think better.
cultivating their gifting.
They get a vision.
Drawing it.
toxicity. Dad called it starving to life the other day instead
Starving
of
to
starving to
life.
death. But
That's interesting.
anyway, it does, provide the clarity to deal with a lot of things. There's detoxes going on. There's a physical detox.
can
There's an
enter
emotional
ketosis.
detox. There's a spiritual detox, and these are like sequential. The longer you fast,
It was
And,
getting a little scary toward the end though, because you were so skinny.
Yes, but I was still like maybe 10 pounds more than the minimum that I was supposed to get. Not that I was supposed to get down to, but that I would be allowed to get down to. So
I don't know. It scared me.
it wasn't unsafe.
You sat in your little chair and you just got tinier every day. I was really ready for you to eat.
Interesting thing. But it's a safe practice, really. We
Because
should
of
say
the
for the
coaching.
sake of
Well,
your
yeah,
audience.
and there's like you're talking to someone every day.
And you're taking
You're
liquids.
taking-
Not like you.
I had what are they called? I had labs on a weekly basis. Every day I checked my blood sugar and my ketones and my blood pressure and my heart rate, and
Very monitored.
there was a log keeping up with all of those things. So everything stayed in the right ranges and it was safe. And it's a thing that people used to do. We didn't always have convenience like we do now with the supermarket and everything. So yeah, people had to hunt and gather, and sometimes it was feast or famine.
And it was actually good for you, I guess.
Yeah.
So after the diagnosis, it wasn't very long till you started getting chemo.
Right. They wanted to hurry up with that.
And the fast kind of came at the end. But I just wanted to ask you about the chemo time because, I mean, I want to hear you tell it. I know.
felt like it lasted the entirety of the school year. Like every other week.
Was it
we were
about
like,
9
okay,
months?
It's time for keto.
Was it
At the end, it got extended a little bit because I had radiation thrown in there, an intense bout of radiation. It was like 5 days. And then I got to wait a little bit longer, I think, before my final chemo treatment. So it drug out a little bit, but it was 6 months. It was originally supposed to be 6 months and then reevaluate. And when they reevaluated, they couldn't find the cancer, the original tumor that had been there.
Amazing.
just wasn't there?
That was before the fast. And then I think just as clear of a scan after the fast. So they did still see something on my liver, which was shrunk considerably, like maybe 1/5 of the original size, 1/4 of the original size. And what they had originally seen in my lungs, they didn't know for sure whether it was cancer. And those had shrunk, but then basically were staying the same size. So that could be an indication that it's not even cancer. So anyway, I'm supposed to have another scan next week.
Oh, I didn't know it was next
But my
week.
last one was in May, and it was still good, and
It
that
was
was
still
after the
showing good.
fast. So
You're probably going to always have to be just getting scans every so often.
it
huh?
seems like that's been actually one of the approaches I've taken to cancer, is that I can't think too far in the future. I mean, I can in the sense that I want to have things to live for, goals and exciting plans to look forward to and things like that. But as far as, kind of the more dreadful things, I just take one day at a time. But I felt so amazing all summer long since the end of my fast, which was right before your wedding, that it's not so much that way as far as
It doesn't weigh on you the thought of all of it.
No, I feel
Hurry up and have
healthier
children
and
so she
better.
can look forward to that. It's your fault if
She's
she
still
gets sick.
looking forward to it. The longer I wait, the more time she has to look forward. The more exciting.
It will build. The anticipation will intensify and build.
I don't want to be the one to disappoint.
Stop. So the chemo was like, I just remember like it being like such a cycle because you would get the chemo and then you'd like feel terrible for a week. And then you'd feel better and better and better and then chemo. And just like,
yeah, it was hard.
how did you like mentally, because it was kind of a long, you knew it was going to be a long time of doing that. Like, how did you like?
Can we talk about Ken a little bit?
Yeah, for
right
sure.
now?
Of course.
Okay, so when Ken found out, he just wanted to be an encouragement.
Which is your cousin?
Ken is my cousin. He was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, I think when he was 4 years old, and was in constant pain and had to be constantly under medical care and receiving drugs to deal with the pain. And it's, it's a kind of degenerative process when you're living that way. There's more to it, and I can't sound very expert on it, so I'll not try to. But he's lived always knowing that each day could be his last, and learned very well how to live for the moment and for the beautiful things about life, and to just really capture those experiences and never take any of them for granted. And then I think it was about a year before I was diagnosed, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor that he was told was terminal, and most of his doctors were not even willing to treat him for it. He did have one champion on his team of physicians who thought it was worth a try, and they did radiation, and they told him, I think, that his life expectancy was it 6 months?
6 or 9.
That he wouldn't exceed 6 months, and it's been 2 full years now, and he's, I think, doing better
Still
than
fighting.
he has. He's amazing. And when he found out that I had cancer, he, I already said that.
You can say
Wanted
it
to
again.
encourage me. He was there for me, and he wanted to do something. So he asked me if it would be all right if he started a GoFundMe, and we thought about that for a little while because that's hard, to accept. But we had other people wanting to help too, amazingly, like heroes wanting to come to the rescue, sending money already, and things like a sauna and prayers just constantly, and
There's flowers
just
everywhere.
all kinds of
The
things.
support was overwhelming.
Yes, and one person was able to get me a consult at MD Anderson. Was it MD Anderson in Houston? Is that the one that's in? I think it was fresh in my mind at one
I
point.
just remember it was.
Yeah, a place that's hard to get into.
Yeah.
And but it was going to cost $18,000 to go there, and meanwhile I was already having treatment here in Indiana, and anyway, obviously there was going to be costs involved, and so we were affirmative on the. Is this getting boring?
Not
Can
at
you just
all.
put the cord like underneath your hand?
There you go.
Affirmative on the
I knew it
GoFundMe
was
thing.
bothering Judith.
And so Ken had just, he was amazing, and he ran it, and he
Shout out.
it was very successful. But in all of that, he said, you need to write an update every so often, like maybe every 2 weeks. You just need to kind of sit and, tell people about how your treatment's going. They need to hear from you and whatever. And that was an opportunity to be reflective for me.
And digest.
Yeah. And writing was just, what's that, kind of cathartic. Is that the right word? That's one of the words. And so it was a good place to gather courage too. And one of the times, I'm thinking, facing these 12 rounds of chemo, somehow I thought about rounds, and it reminded me of my grandmother who always said, Sarah, you've got to roll with the punches. Just roll. I can't say it in a British accent, but she said it so eloquently because of her British accent. But roll with the punches. Life is always going to send you punches. You just got to roll with it. And she would say that often. And so, of course, I thought of boxing, and then I thought of a childhood hero who was Rocky.
Which was Rocky.
Yeah. And anyway, I just thought, if I can approach this like a fighter and just take it one round at a time and, survive. Just stick with it and make it to
I
the
had a
end.
tiger.
I almost said baby.
I did too.
Tiger baby.
Anyway, other things. Writing was good.
I think everybody loved it that came to the page. Like being able to hear from you. The support was crazy. Like people sometimes we didn't even know them. They'd be your mom's friends or
Right.
your
Or friends of a friends. And, people, whole
my coworkers.
congregations,
Yeah, people
like
at
big
school were
congregations.
like, anything you need.
My Aunt
Obviously.
Jane, Ken's mom, has told me on numerous occasions, literally thousands of people are praying for you. And other people have told me that too. And that's a beautiful thought.
Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, our friends, like people we grew up with from different congregations of the church around, just helped just float in.
Rallied.
It was beautiful.
It was. And it still is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my friends, my close friends still check in.
Yeah.
How are you doing? How's your mom doing?
All the time, Mom. They ask about you all the time.
My mom was also a really big part of the healing journey. And of course, for her, she just wanted to do whatever she could and wanted to be there. And of course, felt desperate to be able to help in some way. And just was tireless because she made trips to where we lived, which is like 4 hours from where she lives, every other week for that whole span of time, and helped me with rides to my chemo appointments, and just helped in every way that she could. And that was beneficial for all of us. I think it was a part of my healing journey too.
We were telling how we were not at home. The only good thing was that we were with friends whose mom had also recently been diagnosed.
Yeah.
So they knew what we were going through.
Yeah.
Shout out the Estradas.
It meant
Her
everything.
family has been extremely
They
supportive.
came to the hotel room and just sat with us.
They
and
stayed up basically all
told
night
us
with us.
funny stories for hours and
like-
hours and hours.
They were like, you all, whatever you need. Because we're close to their family anyway. They're like,
We've
whatever you
grown
need.
up
Y'all
with
want
them.
to cry together? We can cry together. If you want us to tell you funny stories and distract you, we
and
can
I
tell
don't
you
know
funny
anyone
stories.
who can tell stories as good as them.
So
And we're like, the
laughter-
stories.
We want the stories. We need to laugh right now.
Yeah, laughter.
Laughter.
Great medicine. And friends. So right away after my diagnosis, in fact, right after I had my port placed,
For the chemo.
that day, my friends from college came because we were
right.
supposed to
Hey,
have
all
a
your
little
roommates.
reunion. We had all turned 50 last year. So we were going to do something in Chicago. People were coming from afar, and but then I couldn't make the trip. So they came to our house instead, and that was
really nice.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was really sweet.
One
It's a
couldn't be
boost.
there, and she zoomed in.
that's true. Yeah,
Like
Kimberly couldn't be
visited
there.
over the camera. It
Yeah.
was-
And then I had Kristen came.
Amy came and stayed.
Amy stayed
Fixed
and
the house up.
gave me a bunch of
She was
Brought her
really,
ladder.
dragging ladders around. I was like, what shit? Branches were falling. I was like,
amazing
Peyton
energy.
was there the whole time too.
Yeah.
She's a hero.
Peyton did the whole journey with us.
Yeah.
Which had to be so unfun. But
Was it unfun?
I was just watching. I was
We had a lot of
like, not be in
support.
the way.
I was so blessed and privileged.
And
with
you
all the
really,
support.
and then you liked to be visited, and people really did
They would come visit
and
me.
sit in your
And my
room,
friends
visit you.
from grade school, my childhood friends came in November.
Oh,
that was a
and you all
beautiful
went
time
to cake
too.
bake and did things.
Yeah. We
And
had
you went
laughs.
to Hawaii's too.
We went to Hawaii
You went
in
with your best
February.
friend and
my
Aunt
sister-in-law,
Stacy.
Aunt Stacy, and my mom, and the girls. And I learned, I didn't learn to surf.
Okay, I didn't learn how to
But I had a surfing lesson, and that was exhilarating
back.
too.
You
We went under a waterfall. It wasn't quite what I had envisioned, but I wanted to go under a waterfall.
And you did that. That's really awesome.
Yeah. So all of that feeds you,
Oh yeah.
strengthens, and
Mom, I'll never
encourages.
forget the one time. It must have been after a chemo treatment because you were definitely in bed. And it would feel so good when Mom started feeling better, would be around the house again. It'd be like, hey, there's Mom. She's in the kitchen. Anyway, I'll never forget this one time you were in bed, and me, Camille, and Peyton had the funniest conversation with Arrow and Allegra ever.
Oh yeah.
And we brought it to
That's what I was
read.
trying to
the
remember
text.
right now. That's what exactly what I was trying to remember because I was like,
It's such a good memory to me. We laughed
because you
So
cry
so
and you
hard.
cannot stop laughing.
No, yeah, we were literally all in stitches on the floor, like somebody resuscitate us. We literally like,
It was good.
It was
It was
just
hours on
making everything sound like King James English.
Yeah.
Old English.
We had a
We just
whole
like had
Old
a
English
cool conversation
conversation.
in just Old English.
And it just got
And made
funnier
up
and funnier and
words.
more
Yeah.
profound.
Yeah, because half the words were made up. But
I really
With the
need to go
TH
back
at the end.
and find it.
I do too.
You remind them about
I
it.
needed that.
It was great
so
too because
good.
Mom got it. Like we thought our conversation was funny when we had it, and Mom understood the funniness. Like she totally got it later on when you read it.
Whenever you all laugh, I can just like vicariously laugh.
Vicariously. It's crazy.
Sometimes I don't even truly get it, I think, because of the generation gap or whatever, but it's like
But
to
still.
see you in such stitches is just contagious.
Someone who's in your same situation or the shoes that you're in about a year ago, they're about to enter, they knew they had cancer, they're about to enter that journey. What advice would you give them or comfort?
I think a lot of the things that I already said, I don't mean to say that in a pedantic way. I already answered your question. No. I think there is a lot of individuality, you know, as far as how people are best comforted and best healed. Obviously, there's also things that are common that we can all resort to. I think nature was so huge for me, being outside, sunlight, the
You
fringe.
just sat in the sun for
We sat in the sun. We
a
got a
long
lot
time.
of vitamin D.
Well,
We grounded, took off our socks, and touched the earth.
brought grounding shoes and grounding sheets and
Thanks, GoFundMe.
touch with nature.
I always have this picture in mind of you when you were on your fast and you were wasting away, and there was the bathtub, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
sun would just shine like on
Yeah.
one corner of the bathtub, and you would just go sit.
So it
in
was
the,
so cold. It was
sit in the
cold
corner in the
outside, but I
sun.
could get warm in the
Yeah, it was like right in the winter, but
Yeah.
there was that one beam
I
of
love that
sunlight. You
picture.
just sit in there.
I think, but though, as far as your question, kind of keeping an open mind as to all of the different things that can help, you know, along with decreasing toxicity in your body. Of course, there's, you know, Roundup and there's unhealthy foods and environmental toxins and things like that. But there's also things that we kind of put on ourselves, toxic thoughts. People can beat themselves up, and they can create or increase toxicity by having toxic thoughts, I think, and kind of somehow getting that system to reverse itself. And part of that, I think, is allowing yourself to accept yourself exactly how you are and how God made you and who He made you to be, and living in that without guilt or fear that you'll be rejected for who you are. I think that might not be the very first thing if you get a diagnosis of cancer, because I think it takes a process even to get there. But that, I think, has been so critical in my journey that I have to mention it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, all of the things like getting in touch with the people who have a healing effect on you, and yeah, finding your authentic self, not feeling ashamed to live in that.
I don't want to ask you a question about something you don't want to get into, so if you don't want to talk about it, no problem. But didn't you feel like there were some things that you had to like go back and learn how to think about from your past that were hurtful for you, that you had to like
Reprocess.
and just
Yeah.
forgive yourself for, or realize that's not my fault? And
For sure. And I think everybody has things, you know, as we grow up and we're trying to make sense of the world, and life is messy and things are hurtful, and, you know, we don't always process things enough. What are you saying?
I'm just
She's
emphasizing.
Okay, because now I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Camille.
She's
That's me.
stimming.
Yeah, you have to learn to process them the right way. You can't. This is something I learned also through the fast and the emotional healing, and there was a guide by the name of Will Hahn, and I don't know the name of his, I don't know if it's a podcast or whatever, but I also had a great experience with him. But he uses a technique called Psyche that is useful for processing emotions even from your past that have created in us like emotional sore spots. He calls them thorns that that can easily get bumped throughout the course of life, and we think that it's, you know, maybe someone hurting us or some situation that we're in right now that's hurting us, but it really traces back to something that happened a long time ago that was
A thorn that was never removed.
exactly. So so we did a lot of exercises with that, and that's beneficial when you realize well, there's more to it, but you know, it's not this that I'm in right now that's hurting me. It's something else that I never did process thoroughly, and part of that processing is taking a balanced approach. Not that you can just say, "Oh, I'm going to be balanced," but there's like actual physical practices that you can do that help to facilitate a balanced right brain and left brain processing
That makes
of
sense.
hurts and things like that. So your right brain would tend to get carried away in emotion, and your left brain would tend to like suppress emotion or just completely rationalize it or whatever. And you kind of need both. And so yeah, I won't go too much into the whole process for that, but that's also beneficial, is to not just dig up and like hash out and, you know, relive and whatever, but to just kind of to get through it and find peace about those kinds of things.
I like what you said about how the healing process is different for everybody. Like different people have to do different things, and I think that's totally okay. But I just loved watching you do what you did, because you just did all the things.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'll clean up my diet, I'll do the chemo, I'll pray, I'll do therapy, I'll do counseling, I'll try supplements, I'll try that supplement, I'll fast, I'll just, you know, and it was just like, I'll do what I can. And it felt very...
Can I read something that Sister Crystal sent to me?
Yes, of course.
I thought it was a direct quote from the scripture that she was referencing, but it was her own words.
Sister Crystal is a dear friend that we just lost a couple weeks ago to cancer.
She said, read Psalm 43:5. And then she said, when it seemed impossible that help could come, help did come. For God has his own resources. He is not confined. In 10,000 different ways and at 10,000 different times, God may help me. Hope thou in God! Exclamation point times 3.
It's beautiful.
And I thought I said, amen, Sister Crystal. And I wish I would have elaborated, because that was super meaningful to me, because in all these different ways, God was helping me.
I think we can get tempted to limit God. You know, we forget how big he is, how he works in so many ways through so many people. And we just think, I'm not getting help right here this way, I'm not going to be helped. And we forget God's so much bigger than that. He works outside of the ways that we can even think of. He's bigger than time and space, and he's completely unlimited. And
Amen.
if we didn't learn anything else from this experience, well, then that was a beautiful thing to learn.
Yeah. Amen.
Well, thank you so much.
Mom on the pod.
That was like really special that you came and shared your story.
Katie didn't ask me anything.
I was listening and enjoying listening to the story. That was really great.
Okay. Thanks.
Did you have any questions?
Not right now. I don't. But it was a really great story, and it was nice to hear it like all in one piece. And I think like the amount of valiance that was showed just throughout that time is very impressionable, and something that I'll always remember.
And also, you all being there, I think there's no way that didn't give me a boost. Just who you are and your vibrance and your life and all that you are doing and the laughter. I'm so glad that, you know, am I being corny?
No, we did so much laughing. Yeah, we did probably too much.
That had to be good for me. Just you all living your own life was a beautiful thing. and yeah, really encouraging through all of it. So lots to be thankful
For sure.
for. Lots to remind myself of.
We're never going to forget watching go through it and how you just like, I don't know, you were so patient and cheerful the whole time.
I owe it to my support network.
It's amazing. Okay, so now we got emotional. Whoops. Oh well, that's what happens, I guess, when you talk about real life things. We're so glad Mom came. We're so glad she shared her story. We hope you enjoyed hearing it as much as we did. Actually, there's no way you enjoyed it as much as us, probably. But we do hope you enjoyed it. And please leave a white heart in the comment for our mom if you made it all the way through, which you definitely should have. This was a beautiful story. You all know what time
Why
it
a
is.
white heart? It's love and peace and happiness. Okay. Okay, sorry. My bad.
What kind of heart did you want?
Oh,
Maybe
no,
it represents healing or something like that. Is that
Doves and peace.
and like a duck? Peace.
Duck?
Peace and tranquility.
Dove.
Purity.
Oh, like
White
peaceness?
heart. Purity.
Peaceness is crazy. Like, other things mean it like a dove. Sorry. That was so long. Sorry.
Okay,
It's, you know, it's one of those different language things. Like, it means something different to you than it does to her.
I guess so.
Apparently, so
I have a very.
we'll get it figured out.
Leave a white
afterwards.
heart. I mean, yeah, we can leave a white heart. Do you have another suggestion? We could do 2.
No, just scratch that part.
No?
Yeah,
Leave it in.
Where did I end?
You know what time it is.
I know, but she's gonna have to delete that part.
Why?
Because it was weird.
It's getting weirder.
Hey,
Yeah.
but like, I'm just kind of weird, so you gotta let me be me. Gotta be me.
She wants to be weird on the show.
No, I don't want to be weird on the show.
No, because now I feel weird. Like, I feel like saying the white heart was weird now.
Was it weird though?
I didn't feel weird about it when I said it, but now I feel weird about it.
What does the white heart represent to you? Actually, this is something I thought we might get into on the podcast.
What?
It's
White
how
hearts.
people, we trigger one another, and actually Toy talked about it, and that was the beginning of me starting to think about it more, but we trigger one another unintentionally all the time, and it actually kind of roots back to those thorns, or it can at least root back to those thorns, and we're just speaking different languages.
That's
And
for sure.
it's unnecessary a lot of times for us to think that we don't agree or that we don't
It's
like one
unnecessary.
another.
I love that. It is unnecessary to think we don't agree because
Yeah.
we do. Like, we
Yeah.
just didn't know that.
So anyway, not that it matters about the white heart, but it is
Now
an
you have to
interesting
leave it in.
topic. I'm just actually kind of wondering, what does a white heart represent to you that it doesn't represent to you? Because obviously there's a...
Okay, first of all, I just have an association with you and the white heart. Maybe
Oh.
it's your white hair. And it just
Okay,
seems
that's,
white hair.
that's exactly why I felt uncomfortable with it, because I was like, it sounds like you're saying white heart because mom is white.
No, it wasn't that. It's just
like in my mind, it was like, okay, I don't know, because we always put a red heart like for peace, love, and hair grease, and you were like, well, let's do a white heart, and so I was just like, why do we have to do a white heart? Like
It
it
was
just
just-
in my mind, I was like, that's not what
It was just a different emoji. Cause like sometimes we say, leave vegetables after Auntie Megan's. She's a gardener. Leave vegetables in the comment. And I was just trying to think of something that was like a little more unique than just a heart. Like it was like you could tell they listened to the whole thing. They're not just hearting it.
I was trying to figure out if you were saying a white heart for the topic or for the person. You know what I mean?
It
Which
wasn't
is
because
one
I'm
and the
white,
same.
which that's what I thought was triggering you, was that it was, like some kind of racial,
That
Suggestion.
was
but she was not making a racial suggestion.
Oh, I was
I was
thinking like white just seems like very like it just seems simple and I don't know, just something. I just have an association
Forceful.
with mom and a white heart. I don't know.
Let's go with the
White
white hair. It's fine. It's not.
Okay, well now
Tied
that
to
we
whiteness.
talked about now that we talked about the white heart for 5 minutes,
Woo.
y'all know what time it is. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Yay for editors.